The first thing that makes me really happy is ice cream. Actually, no, orange leaf. That stuff makes me happy.
Coffee, please.
Walking by the dog park.
I'd have to say that love does.
That picture on the internet of Pope Francis taking a selfie.
The bubble wrap.
Riding in my minivan with my kids and my husband makes me happy.
I was trying to think of all of these funny things that I could say, and then I didn't really come up with anything good.
Sitting around a campfire, singing with Mumford & Sons with my friends.
When we have family prayer time and it turns into Brad and I singing praise and worship and Therese and Lily dancing all over the living room.
Just being around people that care about you.
Watching my kids laugh.
So then I was thinking about serious things and how I really enjoy spending time with my friends and hanging out with them and spending time with my family and my relationship with God, and all of those things make me really happy, but they also have one common thread in that they all are rooted in some different type of love. So, yeah, as lame as that is, love makes me happy.
Love is really a decision. It's not just willing the good for another. It's doing what is absolutely the best for the other. True love demands sacrifice and dying to self, and a willingness to forgive and ask for forgiveness.
Love is the decision to do what is truly best for someone else, even if we're not necessarily feeling like it at the time. My dad takes the time every single week to drive out to my apartment to check the oil in my car, since it's constantly leaking. And he definitely doesn't have to, and it's something I could definitely do for myself, but he takes the time to inconvenience himself to do something generous for me.
You have to be willing to give something that you love or something that is important to you and give that up for the betterment of the other person. And to me, when you're able to actually say that you can do that, that is when you truly know that you love someone.
When I first became a parent, I experienced love in a completely new way. To see Brad in the role as father and protector of our family, and to see our love bear the fruit of children was a completely unique experience and really showed me like true love.
While Katie was in labor with our oldest child, Therese, it was the most pain and suffering I've ever seen someone go through right in front of me, all for the sake of love, all for the sake of love that brings forth new life. Still going.
As a single person, I can say that the time as a single person is extremely valuable because it is time that is purely, all of our energies are free from distraction, and I can really completely focus on deepening my relationship with Christ and serving Him and discerning what it is my vocation will be. And so until I discover what there is beyond the single life for me, I can trust that in the meantime I'm developing the skills that will make me a better wife or mother or consecrated woman. And what's important is that I'm not spending all my time searching for Mr. Right, not only because that's extremely unattractive, but this is a circumstance that He's given to me. And so when I'm able to wake up every morning and say yes to that, life is much more beautiful.
A lot of times we get tied down to other people or trying to lead other people closer to Christ, but the time that you have as a single person, a lot of that should really be spent discovering who you are and finding out what your needs are and where you want to go in your life and where God wants you to go in your life. And that's really what self-discovery is all about. We need to find out who we are, and the best way that we can do that is through prayer and really just talking to God Himself and asking Him the question, what do you want from me? So I think that's really important.
I think friendship is so important because none of us are on an island alone. We're social creatures. We're meant to be together. We're meant to help one another. And we all need companions on this journey that is life. And I think back in the friendships I've had that have lasted are ones where my brothers, especially those same gender relationships, my brothers called me on, they called me out, they continue to point me to where true life and true love is and will be.
When I was in college, I realized that even opposite gender friendships matter as well. I got an experience of traveling abroad, and I remember with my group of friends when we would be traveling, the guys were always trying to protect the girls, and the girls were kind of trying to nurture the guys, and nobody was trying to seek selfish things from each other. We were just trying to love as Christ would love.
You can tell if a relationship, or any friendship for that matter, is leading you closer to Christ or away from Him simply by looking at the fruit. Is this relationship bearing good fruit in my life or bad fruit? Or another way to think about it, is it bringing more life to my life or leading me down a path of darkness, sin, and death?
St. Paul, in his letter to the Galatians, gives us some indicators on how to judge the fruit that's being produced. He says, the works of the flesh are plain: immorality, impurity, licentiousness, idolatry, anger, selfishness, party spirit, envy, drunkenness, and so forth. But then he says, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. So I don't think that this is rocket science. If a relationship is leading you closer to Christ, thanks be to God. If it's leading you away from Christ, well, I think it's probably time to let it go.
I did not date in high school, and which mostly because no one was asking me out. And honestly, at the time it was really hard and kind of made me feel self-conscious, and because I wasn't getting that kind of affirmation. I was asking myself, am I pretty, or is there something wrong with me? But I also hadn't seen kind of the value of singleness at the time. But I also was blessed with a solid group of guy and girl friends from my youth group, and we were learning it and helping each other to learn how to have solid non-romantic friendships with the opposite sex. And I'm sure there were plenty of crushes in our group of friends, and probably the occasional inner dating, but I think most of the time it caused drama, so we tried to avoid it. But it really did help me to eventually overcome my kind of self-consciousness about it, and learn that there was a lot going on and a lot to be gained from life outside of the dating realm.
When I dated in high school, I think it started as discernment for marriage. I knew that that's what dating was for, and that's why I said I started dating. I think that it quickly became selfish, my reason to continue dating, and I didn't continue to discern. Is this bearing good fruit in my life? Is this person good for me? Is this person who I want to marry? I just kind of focused more on am I getting what I want out of this relationship? Am I feeling good about myself? Am I feeling lonely or not? And I think ultimately it took me a long time to discern out of that relationship. If I would have been discerning all along, good fruits, bad fruits, I could have seen more clearly and saved myself and the guy that I was dating a lot of sin and heartache and pain in the long run.
Well, when I was in high school and dating, I wasn't really thinking about a spouse at all. I was just trying to find someone to help me overcome my loneliness or to get me into certain social groups. But when I got to college, I encountered Christ. He totally transformed my life, and I realized that He was the only answer to all the longings of my heart. And so it totally changed what I was looking for when I was dating, because I was no longer looking for someone to kind of fill me and take care of all my problems. But no human being can do that. I was looking for someone who would journey with me, who would be a companion and constantly be pointing me to Christ. And that totally changed everything. And when I met Katie, I realized that she was this helpmate, this companion that I was looking for.
And that totally changed the way I was dating. I think that's why Adam was alone before he met Eve, to realize what he was looking for, really. And Eve becomes a helpmate. So I was looking for that sort of helpmate, someone who would journey with me, walk with me, and continue to point me to Christ. Now, in terms of practical compatibility things I was looking for, I wanted to find a woman who was confident enough in her heart that she would allow me to pursue it. And one who recognized the value of guarding her heart instead of just giving it away. I was also looking for someone who didn't want to just fix me and kind of like make me into her ideal man, but someone who would love me as I was.
First, it was someone who would help me get to heaven. Then someone to not only share but grow in faith together. Also someone who would be a great mom for our children. And then finally, someone who has similar outlook on life and I enjoy being around and spending time with.
So if I had to pick my most prized possession, it would definitely be my iPhone. My iPhone is constantly in an OtterBox with a screen protector on it at all times. And I carry it like, I don't even know, like very delicately and gently, and I'm always worried I'm going to drop it or something silly. But my old phone, I wasn't really worried about it. It was kind of like a brick. I dropped it on the ground, I dropped it in some water, and it was really beat up and really gross. And it's kind of the same way with a relationship. Like, we should guard our hearts and our souls in the same way that I ridiculously guard my iPhone, and I'm so worried about it getting dirty or broken or, I guess, cracked. But we should not only guard our hearts and souls like that, but we should also guard the other person's soul in the same, like, carefulness as well.
Guarding your heart is really just a modesty of the heart. It means to only reveal the parts of yourself, to only give yourself physically, emotionally, and spiritually in a way that's appropriate to the state of life that you're in. So when I was in high school and I was dating, I didn't do a very good job of guarding my heart. And I, got very emotionally attached, talked on the phone all the time, shared everything all the time, spent all my time together, and was pacing myself as if I was going to be getting married next week. And I was damaged from that. And when I started dating Brad in college, we both had learned from past relationships and really felt that it was important to guard each other's hearts and to pace our relationship properly. And so we really set boundaries, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, to pace ourselves in a way that was appropriate to the dating state.